The
from Florida.
April 24th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting to order. And Ms. Rambo, would you please call the roll?
Jake Castile, Jim Jackson, Pete McGorry, David Miller,
Here.
Steve Pajali,
Here.
Connor Whalen,
Here.
Mike Zuloff.
Here.
Okay, our next item is approval of the minutes from March 27th, 2024, and April 4th, the special meetings in there also. Have you all had a chance to review those minutes? And if so, could I get a motion to approve them or approve them with changes?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr.
I would
Zuloff.
move to approve both sets of minutes dispensing with the reading.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Mr. Hastings, was that proper order of things?
Oh, no, sorry, I was, Alec asked me a question, I was
Oh.
trying to flash the signal to him.
Okay, I thought maybe we had, all right. Moving into new business, 420 Warren Street. Is that, Mr. Oakes, will you be taking that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is for a site plan approval application of 420 and 422 Warren Street. The site is zoned CS Commercial Service. The surrounding zoning to the north is both CS Commercial Service and R2F2 Family Residential. To the east is R2F2 Family Residential. To the south is CS Commercial Service, and to the west is CS Commercial Service. The existing use of this site is a business, and it is staying a business. The site is approximately 0.13 acres. The proposal is to add a new parking lot and a two-way access driveway to the parking lot. It will provide 15 new spaces and an area for a dumpster. The existing parking lot is a concrete slab with any striped parking spaces. The existing space is limited since it only has a one-way entry and exit point. Staff estimates that the existing parking lot can only provide about 9 parking spaces. The site is currently housing a salon suite business. The strictest review of the parking standards for business and commercial uses would require 16 parking spaces at this site. The current use would only require 6 parking spaces. The proposal is below the 25-space minimum that would then require landscaping requirements, so there are no additional landscaping requirements. In addition, staff recommends adding trees as any site plan approval process, in this case along Warren Street or the rear parking lot islands. There's no concerns still on the table for other staff. Engineering had stormwater runoff concerns, but that has been addressed prior to this meeting. And based on the criteria, staff recommends the approval of the proposed site plan at 420 and 422 Warren Street with the following conditions. That's that all applicable permits are obtained through the building department, engineering department, Division of Planning, and any other applicable agency prior to any construction, and that parcels 56-00768.000 and parcel 56-00552.000 are combined prior to construction. Thank you.
Through the chair, I'll add a comment. The Warren Street project is under construction on the street. As you know, this applicant, property owner, coordinated with that project. So the Warren Street project is currently created that opening for this anticipated driveway. So just so you know, we wouldn't be creating any conflict with that ongoing project.
Good to know.
Thank you, Ms. Blair. I don't think the owner's not here this evening, right?
He was not able to attend.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments from around the table?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Zuloff.
so what activity takes place in this structure? It seems like a small structure and not a lot of parking.
It's a beauty shop.
That's it. Is there any expansion of the business anticipated or anything that you're aware of?
Not that they've indicated to us. If you recall, you can just barely see the red building to the left of this, to the north. That's the rezoning that we saw last month. We'll see a site plan
Sure,
coming up for
yeah.
that, which, increases the size of that building. My understanding is this owner is looking for just the future proofing of the flexibility of the space and the property, and to do both of those projects at the same time from a
Okay.
convenience and construction standpoint.
I understand it better. It's sort of an unusual configuration with that slab out front, and it looks like, do we know why that slab is out front? Was that a patio terrace or future expansion, or?
Mr. Chairman, if I may add to that, to Mr. Zuloff, I have talked with the applicant. That is being removed, if not removed already, the wooden front porch. That part of the project is to have that removed and make that grass.
I see, thank you.
Yep.
Just, it's tangentially relevant. I don't see a problem, but it's helpful when deciding, to know how the site is,
Absolutely.
any contemplated changes to the use, which sometimes goes along with expanding parking, so.
Through you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Miller.
Mike's question was kind of where I was going, but to follow up with Ms. Blair, is it sort of the general presumption that they're going to need more parking for the residential units right next door, and with a common owner and this additional parking available, that would be why it seems like there's more parking than a beauty shop would require?
Each site will function independently, so we'll make sure that the parking's addressed on the north site. Certainly, it adds more flexibility if the owner chooses to, but our analysis is just look at them separately, just because they might have different owners in the future.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, if I could add to that.
Yes, Mr. Oaks.
I've been working with this applicant for several months now. When we originally talked, I encouraged him to expand the parking if that was what he wished to move forward with. As I mentioned to him, 16 is the max spaces required for any use in this district. I believe the applicant wanted to, and as Ms. Blair stated, have the flexibility of allowing more businesses here and meet those parking standards if the future were to bring that.
Thank you. Anything else from around the table? Just to maybe comment on Mr. Zuloff's original question about that beauty salon. If I recall, it has been remodeled and it has been refurbished. So that was the end product to that happening some time ago.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr.
I would
Zuloff.
make the motion to approve the application, subject, of course, to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded by Mr. Whaling. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Okay, moving on to the next item, 1021 Cleveland Road.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Oaks.
This is also for a site plan application for a motel expansion at 1021 Cleveland Road. The site is currently zoned general business. To the north is also general business. To the east is R140, single-family residential, and LB local business. To the south is both LB local business and GB general business, and to the west is LB local business. The existing use of this site is a motel. The proposed use is staying in a motel. The surrounding uses of this site are residential, business, and restaurant. The site is approximately 0.91 acres. The new development is a 374 square foot, which is a 22 foot by 17 foot, one-story addition to the existing main entrance office. The new addition will be a multi-use lobby seating area, which will also be for serving breakfast to guests. The seating capacity will be roughly 15 to 20 people. The hours of operation of this new lobby area will be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 3 parking spaces will be removed as part of this proposal. Staff talked with the applicant, and the applicant stated that there are no concerns about parking. There is an agreement in place for the roadway end to have access to the rear parking lot, which is also used by the club for overflow parking. The applicant said there have not been any issues with parking since they've owned the property. Per zoning code section 1149.06C, staff asks that the commission not require 3 parking spaces to be moved elsewhere, which is subject to the 1149.06C requirements. If there are no additional parking requirements, no additional landscaping is required. In general, staff recommends adding trees to any site plan improvement, in this case along Cleveland Road, to help beautify the site. There are no side yard zoning requirements in this proposal, so this structure will be placed on the property line. Based on all that, the building department did have some feedback during our all-staff meeting, which I believe has been addressed, but there are just comments that this building will have to have fire-rated construction as it is within 5 feet of the property line. There's no other concerns from other departments. Staff recommends the approval of the proposed site plan at 1021 Cleveland Road with the following conditions. That's that all applicable permits are obtained to the building department, engineering department, division of planning, and any other applicable agency prior to any construction. And second, that parcels 57-00651.000 and parcel 57-00652.000 are combined prior to any construction. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oaks. Before we move to the table, I'm wondering, are you Mr. Jones?
No, that's my contractor.
Oh, okay.
I'm the owner.
Okay, is there anything like that you would like to come up and comment on, or?
No, I think Al got it pretty well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, take care of it.
All right, I just thought I'd give you the opportunity.
Thank you,
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
Any comments, questions, discussion from around the table? Mr. Miller?
For you, Mr. Chairman, maybe Alec could answer, but I'm not sure. On the printout, there's this blue, and I don't know where that's from and what it means, or if it's just my copy.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yeah.
If I had to take a guess at that, I think that might be shaded areas from trees, so it might be just the ink interacting strangely, if I had to take a guess.
I just don't remember seeing that before. I thought it was curious.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm seeing that. Show me what you,
Yeah.
Every image, it's like,
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, I don't think it's to identify anything particular. Maybe it was something that was from the copier, or?
I'm not even seeing that page, my friend.
Back here.
Yeah, I think it's the shaded trees.
They submitted in the application, not
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
there we
staff
go.
report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's right. It's just tree shadows. Pretty sure that's what.
Any other follow-up questions, Mr. Miller?
no, I was mystified.
Mr.
Zuloff, yes.
I didn't quite catch all the comments. Could you expand on the landscaping requirement?
Yeah, sure thing. So staff is asking that the 3 parking spaces that are being removed as part of this project to not be required to be relocated because of the agreement with the club restaurant behind this structure. So there aren't any additional landscaping requirements, as there aren't any new parking spaces being moved or required as part of this proposal. Staff brought forward our language of recommending trees where possible, in this case along Cleveland Road. There's just a couple areas that looked like at one point had trees. Just maybe seeing a few trees there to help beautify the site could satisfy that request.
And that's a recommendation.
Recommendation, yeah, that's correct.
So you're not asking for a condition, you're just,
That's correct. Yep, no
Recommend.
condition, just a simple recommendation.
okay. Are we a relatively new owner that we're dealing with here, and are we on a rehab project or a renovation project, or?
Yeah, I mean, eventually I want to,
Could I have you come up and state your name and address just for the record and stay up to the podium there?
Podium right here.
podium it in. I got it.
I'd love to hear more about what you're up to.
Sure. My name is Hassan Mohammed. I'm a hotel owner. We own a bunch of properties in New York and Erie, Pennsylvania, and we were looking to purchase this property. I'm trying to purchase another property in Norwalk right now, which I have a LOI signed. So I'm just working on the due diligence right now to purchase a Comfort Inn down there. But for this one, yeah, it's going to be a rehab project eventually. We were trying to get the lobby expanded for maybe future seatings or breakfast area. I haven't decided exactly if I'm going to do that, no, but the rooms are going to get totally rehabbed and everything like that. I just bought the property. This is my third full year that it's going to be starting, that I've owned it.
Which year?
Third full, this is going to be the start of my third year, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if we embarked on any exterior renovations or yet.
That's to be determined in the future, but we haven't really decided exactly what we're going to do on the outside. Like you were talking about the trees right there. We plan to do some floral work out there to make the appeal of the building stand out more. We do have plans on doing stuff. I haven't gotten to that part yet. For right now, we've just done the lobby of where we're going to start it from. It's just so we can maybe, near future, serve breakfast to the guests staying at the hotel.
Right, and I observed, and I'm pretty sure that the treatment on the facade with the birds predated you, or did you do that?
No, that was how I purchased the building.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
I also thought that was sort of an interesting
Yeah.
treatment. And I'm sure you're aware, too, that the east wall, behind the units, backing up to some residential lots, might be due for some attention. Not that we would be, making that a requirement, but
Which wall are you talking about? The one that's facing the residential?
Residential,
yeah, on the
be on the east side there.
on the east.
The
The
parking
backside
lot.
of the east wall backing up to all those houses, you probably don't get a look at it very often, but
Oh,
I think, if you did, I'm sure you're aware that's probably due for some
Right,
attention too.
I've been back there quite a few times throughout the season
Yeah.
that I'm here because we're only seasonal. Anything that I've backed down, when I've ever walked back there, I've never seen anything, that caught my attention to be fixed, but I will take another look at it, and if there's anything that needs to be addressed, I will
Yeah,
make sure I
there are
take care
probably
of
some
it.
opportunities to, bring more order to that, considering that, it's, a lot of people are looking at it in their backyards.
That part of the wall, no one ever gets to see. Besides the residents in the back, it's totally covered with houses. I actually let the neighborhood right there, they do like little plants and they do like their vegetarian stuff and they grow vegetables and everything. So they do come on my part of the property and do that. And
Yeah,
I don't ever have a problem. They haven't given me troubles in 3 years.
Well, it's good, to see that, it's good to expect some attention
Right.
to that property. It's probably I think it has a lot of potential.
Yes, it does.
So, yes, so thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I had a question. Could we go back to that slide that was there? Okay. The left-hand corner there. Will you be adding on to the back there or the piece across from there, or where will this expansion actually be?
Do you see the beginning? You see on the bottom left, the picture on the bottom left?
Yes.
You see that little stub out right there?
Yes.
That's going to be expanding a little bit, 2 parking spots forward,
Okay.
right there.
Okay, that clears it up for me.
Yeah.
I had talked to staff about that, and we were all kind of, we weren't quite clear on where it was going to be, but
Yeah.
that's good. And how is business over there?
I've done very well since I've taken over. Obviously, I'm a new generation coming in, just trying to stay as competitive as I can. It doesn't do as good as it should because of being an older property. I guess once I'm done, I can probably be at the standards of that Super 8 down the road and stay as busy as they are. But I do very well for myself over there right now.
At one point, they had a bar in there, too. The Med Lounge, I believe it was. Mr. Miller probably knows, or Mr. McGorry probably knows more about it than I do. Is that bar still in there?
No, I don't have any bars there right now.
Yeah.
Maybe at one time when the Sorrentinos owned it.
Yeah.
Because I am the third owner for the building, so that's, I don't know. I mean, I knew it was a barbershop, and then the second building used to be a barbershop, and it used to be a diner, or like some kind of restaurant or something, long time ago.
It was the home of the triple. I think you paid one price and you got a triple.
Oh, really? Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
Anyway, I digress. Are there any other comments from around the table?
No, but thank you for the history lesson. I didn't know that was a bar there. Appreciate
Well, it does have a bit of
That is
history.
revisionist history.
Just one quick question. Have we established the year of construction for this? I'd be curious.
Through the chairman, I don't know that number.
It's okay to say I don't know.
It is in the packet, though.
Oh, is it?
On the
Okay.
page, I think you might be on, the property card is in the packet for this.
I'll look it up.
Yep.
Thank you. I missed that, but I just
If-
I started thinking, I hadn't really considered, but there's a, tiny bit of history there. So.
if-
It's sort of an interesting structure. So.
Yes.
Or, my story?
What's that?
I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, it's hard. There's a bit of history, local.
Oh, with that building, yeah.
So it's just sort of fun to know, where it's headed.
Yeah. Hopefully in the right direction.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I found the answer to that question. 1963 is when the hotel was
Oh,
built.
so that recently. Vintage.
It's still going. So if there's,
Only 55 years or something.
if there's no other comments or questions, I'll call for the vote.
Well, you need a motion.
Is there a motion to approve the request, the application?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Mr. Chairman, I would second the motion to approve, subject to the staff conditions in the report.
Thank you, Mr. Zuloff. It's been moved in second. Ms. Quinn, would you call the roll for the vote?
Pete McGorry,
Yes.
Mike Zuloff,
Yes.
David Miller, Connor Whalen,
Yes.
Steve Pajali.
Yes. Motion passes.
So if I could
Good
ask-
luck.
Thank you.
If I could ask a follow-up question.
I think Mr. Zuloff has one more question.
Yeah, you've got properties in other states. Do you spend some time managing here, or do you spend any time here, or are you just here? Are you honoring us, just for this occasion?
So this is a seasonal property. We opened up in May and we shut down in October 31st. For the past few years, because it was a purchase, I bought this for the first time, so I was here throughout the whole season. I plan to stay here this season too, especially if I buy that Comfort Inn in Norwalk. But I haven't really decided exactly how much time I'm going to give this in the near future. But for right now, just to get the business back up and get this construction going, I will be here.
Having been there, I want to warn you, it's an easy town to fall in love with because, we got the waterfront and it's affordable and lots of, very, very diverse community. And so I'm just warning you, if you spend too much time here, you could find yourself wanting to stay.
To stay in Norwalk. Hopefully, to keep the taxes down, I'll stay.
Okay. Well, thank you. Like I said, good luck. Have a good evening.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Good luck.
All right. Under other business, the staff update. I believe we have one.
Sure thing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is brought to us from the Public Works Department, just to give an update to the Planning Commission of a parcel the city owns that they are dedicating for public use, specifically for the bike path. It was recorded for specifically, in quotes, the use of the public forever. The City Commission approved this article and memo on March 11th. This process is required by ODOT standards for the bike path's purpose. The parcel size is .8494 acres. It's over on Cedar Point Road. This used to be part of the old railroad right-of-way that the bridge area is right across from Castaway Bay. And just for the record, there's no action required for Planning Commission or approval required tonight. It's strictly just a staff update requested by Public Works, so you all are informed on what's going on with the bike path.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Oakes.
Yep.
Mr. Zuloff.
So, people are asking, is there anything you can report to us on Battery Park or on the Jackson Street Hotel project? I am aware that there have been meetings between staff and there was a recent report on the status, obviously on Monday that we all could have listened to and was very interesting. But I don't like surprises. So is there, we can learn everything we need to, I think, maybe from that report from Marus. Jackson Street is more mysterious. Is there anything you can share with us?
Through the chair.
Ms. Blair?
I'd repeat what you mentioned, Mr. Zuloff, is the Battery Park Marus came and presented to the City Commission on Monday, April 22nd, just this past Monday. So anyone with questions there could watch that video to learn some updates from them. On the Jackson Street parking lot, there was also a statement read in the manager's report at the same meeting that the city was in a memorandum of understanding, an MOU, with Fairmount Properties that expired March 31st, and Community Development is working with them for an extension on that MOU, and they plan to bring that to City Commission for approval.
Yeah, I was
at
aware of
a
the
coming meeting.
expiration, so nothing to report.
Nothing
Yeah,
specific to
right,
report.
Still in negotiation.
And due diligence.
So, yeah. Thank you. How about the landing?
The landing, I believe, is finishing a design. That's Mr. Aaron Klein's project. So I would defer to what he would say about it. I don't have any meaningful update to share.
Does that
Right
involve
now.
the Park District at all, the Metro Parks?
Not that I don't know.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Zulo?
All I have, thank you.
Anything from others around the table? Mr. Miller?
Yeah, maybe Alex, or I'm not sure, but in the graphic that's up right now depicting the lot of what we used to refer to as the node, it seems that I need a little education on water rights. If that parcel is the public parcel, immediately across the stream from that is a parcel that I thought was owned by Cedar Point. And given that we're talking about the bike path access and the bridge there, is that something that the city will acquire from them, or just an easement across their property? Or does their parcel meet that other parcel so that basically Pipe Creek is privately owned across there? How does that work?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, to Mr. Miller's question. So I don't want to speak for Public Works, but I do believe, as you mentioned, there are buildings across the old bridge there. I do believe it would then require an easement that we have a bike path go through there if that plan does go forward. I don't know if and where they are in that process, so I don't want to speak out of context and say something incorrectly. But specifically to the water rights question, how the state law works is any place where the water line is would then be public. Where the water is also public. So in this case, the whole parcel would fall under public use and public domain. I also can't speak for Cedar Point because I don't know what negotiations they're making currently with the city to allow us to use it, if any at all. But as far as I know, the direction that this project is moving towards is what's in front of you tonight. I do believe they're trying to move forward with this proposal and connect all these small pieces.
Do you happen to know if that pool is still being used? I haven't paid attention recently.
It's a great question.
I think it might still be in operation this season. I don't know about next year, but I think it's going away for the Pathway project. There were several parcels on the City Commission agenda on Monday from Cedar Point. I don't know if they were right here. I didn't see a map of them, but that might be a good reference to take a look at.
All right, thank you.
Well, you don't need a lot of room for pedestrians and bicycles.
Any other questions or comments from around the table? Ms. Blair, did you have something you
I
wanted to
do.
share?
I have a little update I thought would be interesting to share. One small thing, there's a book called The Guide to Planning in Ohio that APA Ohio produced, and that is available on the APA Ohio website if you're interested in that. It was written by many authors across the state. The chapter president is very excited about it, so I thought it would be good, prudent to share. And I also wanted to share that there, if you haven't been following, there's a Ohio Senate Select Committee on Housing in the Ohio Senate. and they recently released a report with 23 recommendations, and there's quite a few planning and zoning recommendations in there. They're thinking about housing and the need for housing, the demand for housing, the shortage of housing across the state. As we well know, we have a significant shortage of housing in Sandusky and in the greater Sandusky region. A few of their recommendations that are in there is they're calling for a creation of a housing toolkit, which would be some sort of online resource hub to support local governments with housing development and community planning. So there could be some resources they're putting together for planning and housing development. They also are recommending zoning, so creating technical assistance to modernize zoning codes and create opportunities for housing. So it sounds like they are going to, that the Ohio Senate is recommending that there's some sort of statewide recommendations or best practices or model codes. I don't know what that'll end up looking like, but they're recommending zoning assistance to locals. And then they also are recommending promoting alternative housing options like accessory dwelling units, which we have discussed the potential for bringing those forward in the city, and tiny home projects and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see if the state has something to say about that. And then they've also hinted at releasing a series of bills related to housing. So if there's any grant opportunities for planning, zoning, housing development, that's something that we'll be watching closely from the community development perspective. And I'm also a member of the APA Ohio board. I'm on the legislative and policy committee for that board. So anything that we are working on or following or tracking, I can bring you updates from that perspective as well.
Where was the location that you would find that article again? Housing something?
I would look directly, the Ohio Senate Select Committee on Housing, it's what it's called. So it's going to be on, what is that, ohio.gov, whatever the state website is.
Can you send a link? Can you distribute?
Sure, I can distribute a
I
link.
think you can also find it on the Ohio Municipal League site.
Ohio Municipal League, yeah,
Yeah.
it's out there. Greater Ohio Policy Center probably
Yeah.
has it. It would be, it's definitely out there. They released a report, there's been a couple press releases, so they're starting to socialize that now.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I just wanted to note that Mr. McGorry did show up, so
Thank you. I'm
I'm sure
sorry
you
it was
can
a
note
little
that.
bit late.
I'm sure you were out obtaining justice for some poor citizen. That's
Always
what
looking
made
for
you
it.
late.
Sometimes finding it.
Boy, that was a setup for an ambulance joke.
Well, you know, Walt Wagner used to say, if you're looking for justice, you're going to have to wait till you get to heaven.
Okay.
So you're not going to find it here. But anyhow, I digress once again. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We stand adjourned.
Last one in, first one out.
Okay, that was a tough one.
That's a record.